Wow, nice. That's
The new office,
yes. Really nice looking. Maybe I should get one.
central London. Yeah.
Oh, nice, nice. Okay.
Obviously,
What's
it's an AI generated image of London, so it's not
oh,
actually
really?
real at all. Yeah, it doesn't
Really,
exist.
really? Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
I
okay.
if you
That's
look,
cool.
I mean, so for instance, the was it well, going that way? There we go. So that bit there, that's not even that's a bridge. That's meant to be a bridge, but it's not a bridge. It doesn't exist. Because if you think about
Okay,
it,
okay. I see.
there's no bridge that looks like that in London. But anyway.
Okay, okay. Wow,
And
nice.
also the angles of the metalwork don't work either.
I guess we will be constructing metaverses, right?
Yeah,
And be interacting within metaverse. Probably not
indeed.
too far from, yeah. So all right, great. So yeah, would you like to share some wins over the this week overall and other things?
Yeah, well, I'm kind of winding down now, so I
Mhm.
don't want to be doing
Okay,
too much. So I've
okay,
just been
that's
kind of,
fine.
yeah, just just been kind of. Uh, I went to one customer on Wednesday
Mhm.
and took him out
Mhm.
for lunch, but it was kind of nice because
Right.
it made me realise there's a lot of opportunity there within that customer, um,
Okay.
and and it's interesting because sometimes it takes quite a long time, even though you get on with somebody, they still have different distractions that they'll go with, and you just have to keep plugging away and being there for them to sit there and go, oh, actually, I should have just
Mhm.
come to you, um,
Okay.
and that does take a while before it kind of falls into place. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's good.
Okay. Okay. I
And
see. Nice.
did the plan for income sec for the next three
Mhm.
years um,
Oh,
with
okay.
uh, and presented that to Anastasia and Olga. Uh, so
Okay.
Olga's like
Okay.
an equal shareholder, and Anastasia's a
Right.
minority share. Um,
Okay. Nice. Okay.
so, but that was really interesting having everything down and dusted, and then presenting that as well as a
Okay.
concept.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's good.
Nice. Nice. All right. So I guess any commitment, obstacle, wisdom you like to share?
Commitment, wisdom, or obstacle.
Commitment, obstacle, and wisdom. Maybe maybe just one each. Just what's on the
Um,
top of your mind. I think that's
commitment. Have some
yeah.
free time before Christmas.
Okay, okay. That's a great one. That's a great one. Okay.
Uh,
Yeah.
obstacle.
Uh-huh.
Um, um, my own physicality.
Oh,
I pulled
okay.
my
Okay.
back today in the gym. So
Oh, okay. Okay. I see. All right.
uh,
And any recent wisdom you got in touch with?
yeah. No, I've just been. I haven't seen anything myself recently. It's just not since we last spoke. Um,
Okay. Okay.
so
All right. Okay. I guess the wisdom is in the what you just shared, right? Talking to the client. That's a wisdom. I mean, you try,
yeah, I
right?
suppose so.
You can help, yeah, help the
Yes.
client realize, right, that maybe they should come to you for
Yeah,
certain things. Okay.
more often.
Right. Okay. All right. That's sales. That's sales. And that's great. All right. So I'll share some. Okay. So basically, wins. So basically for the Create course, the 2024 has been designed and we launched a webinar using ads. Okay, with that kid, Aaron. Okay, so he's really nice. Right now, it's supposedly the ad is running. I haven't checked into the status, but that thing right now is launched, consider launched. So, the goal is to get by the end of the year 1,000. Okay, so that's but for this particular thing, I think the goal is 100, and there's a reasonable path towards that, which is I'm learning with a woman called Ellen Lin. She's like the top funnel marketeer, for the Chinese market. Also a 2XX award winner. She's got a list of 360K, people on her list. So even if just like 1% convert, that would help us to reach that goal. Okay, so even just 1% or and 0.1 conversion, that would still get us adequate sales. So right now the goal is to try to make that funnel works, converting, make sure that it converts at least some audience. Okay. And then just put it into the bigger list, right? I mean, that's kind of the current strategy. So that's and the other okay, so the other thing, I think it's more sort of on the connection level. So basically regarding the eco building thing, this past week, I talked to two experts. In fact, one just this earlier, just this morning. Sorry, last night for me. So one expert is actually an architect. Okay, so he's built various projects that won design awards, globally, and he's had projects in China, in how do you call that? Cambodia, I think, Cambodia as well. Okay, Southeast Asia. So he basically said that all the eco building ideas, the integrated thing, restaurant, hostel, he's done it. Okay, he's done something similar. So to him, not a problem, to actually build the design. And he also saw that as a very interesting challenge. Okay, so his business model is that he doesn't make profit in Taiwan, but he sees Taiwan as a showcase, right? Kind of a proof of concept place. But then he would want to invite his Chinese customers, his Southeast Asian clients, maybe to see those buildings, right? So they could have some ideas and take it back to their own countries and then actually build it at scale. And that's where the profit would come from. Okay, so he's got a business model there, and he saw the main challenge as operation. Okay, I mean, like designing, constructing the building is one thing, making it to the profitable property, that's another thing, right? So for that, I talked with my high school actually classmate who's actually doing a real estate property management, and actually it's one of the larger player in Taiwan now. I think they're going IPO this year. Okay, sorry, next year, 2024. They're planning for an IPO next year. So I actually just talked to him last night, and for a couple of hours, and he gave some really, really good feedback. Okay, because he understood the whole idea. He's also doing the whole pipeline from constructing, building, designing to operation. So that's one of their strengths. They actually have a whole pipeline from construction to or purchase, acquisition to management. So he understands the whole pipeline. His basic feedback is that you want to sort of calculate from the end, like what is the per square, whatever, meter value you intend to generate for an investor, and sort of backtrack that to the amount, to the design and to the amount you want to raise. Okay, so things like that. And it has to be comparable to the US, I guess the bond rate, which is at about 5-6% per year. I mean, you have to kind of, because people will compare that with alternative investment vehicles, right? Their money is being locked. So he got some really good feedback from that. But also another interesting feedback is on the tokenization aspect. Okay, he sees is that he actually explored that before and saw that as a really good opportunity to take an experiment. And to his knowledge, there hasn't been a case in Taiwan that does that.
What's a really good example for making an experiment?
Okay, so well, the fact that you have done some actual fundraising through token sales. Okay, because he cited examples. I think this is some maybe US company or elsewhere. Basically, you know, it takes only like maybe a few hundred US dollar to invest into a property for a share of the, you know, the token. And it's really just selling
Yeah,
properties.
what's a good example of that though? He said,
What's a,
you said he said that
right?
would be a really good example of doing a test. What is?
Oh, so basically I mean with our family building, right? With that small, if that's done, you know, then that would be a good showcase for. He also agree, you know, that would be kind of the I guess the model, you know, that the point is not to just make that one, but actually create a replicatable model that can be scaled to other places. So yeah, so basically, I guess that's I think the interesting feedback from what he was talking is he sees this as something from the operational perspective because he's been doing operation as something that's designable. Okay, so in other words, that's something that's probably it's a bit challenging. We did a quick calculation, you know, kind of like it has to be of certain value. He also feedback that, for example, that you want to maybe the property to win design awards. Okay, so that it actually becomes like a showcase. But at the minimum, you want to make that sustainable, right? And maybe make the money elsewhere as building a model and exporting, replicating that into other projects. So he just, I think, provide that feedback as doing this as a, you know, a prototyping case. So I think that's so I mean, I guess the win here is after talking to them and maybe some other experts, I think the path forward is becoming more clear, at least on my side. Okay, in terms of, you know, what is going to be required and what kind of expertise are required. Okay, so I guess that's that. Okay, so
So what's the
commitment,
decision?
the decision is to basically move forward with understanding what it would take, you know, like what's the actual legal parameters of doing a construction project, right? And then I think some of the next steps is just, I guess, well, he also okay, he also the feedback is the same. Like always keep selling out as an option. Okay, just selling to the developer. So I guess right now, well, it's I think on my part, the right now I'm still, you know, trying to move forward with the idea, with the proposal, and see how that you know, whether we can draft out the proposal that, you know, could be the basis for a ICO project. Yeah. So I wouldn't say there's a definite decision yet, okay, in terms of a goal, a quote unquote a goal. Uh, in other words, we haven't really passed that point of no return yet. Okay. But I think I'm trying to build towards that. Okay. Yeah. So I guess that's the current state. Okay. I mean, I'm being honest about what it's because um, basically there's more clarity in this whole thing, the whole process. Okay. And also I think, you know, I have got to know a couple of important who's, right? In terms of architecture design, that's potentially award-winning, and also a really experienced operator, you know, who's done it. You know, they have other projects that are doing something similar. And
But I mean,
he
what does that?
also, yeah,
But what that
right.
means then, right?
Uh-huh.
One of the suggestions is it's got to be award winning. Well, then that's not necessarily operating at a profit. Okay, it's a
No,
different purpose.
True. That's different. Exactly. Right.
And then the other one was, we'll get it so that it's a showcase for doing
Right.
other projects. Well, okay,
Right.
fine. You're
Right.
I don't know. I just think you're going to spend an awful lot of time. I just think you're going to spend an awful lot of time on this, and you're not necessarily going to get yourself in a position where you want to be. I just think
No.
I don't.
Okay.
I don't think following this through the way that you've spoken about it so far is of benefit. But that's just me looking from the outside. But it's your place, it's your money, it's your life. What am I? Who am I to sit there and offer you opinion on that? There's not enough money in it. There's too much thinking involved. You know, I think if you look at something and this is a no-brainer. This instinctively this works. Right. What are the specifics that will make it work really well?
Right.
But at the moment, you've got an idea that works, and you're trying to shoehorn this situation to make it work for your idea.
Exactly.
Well, that isn't necessary. Well, that isn't necessarily the right way of doing things. You don't shoehorn things to make them work. You find things, the opportunities that will work. And once you see, for me, I thought we'd finished with this conversation when it was clear that if you sold it to the designer, the developers,
developer,
you would then, if you sold it for the right amount, you would then be able to take home, you know, £1 million each, $1 million each, and then utilize that to build out somewhere else and fulfill your dream and build and grow from there. But you know,
I guess just be transparent. And I think this is something I like to share because this is maybe part of my understanding, which may not be yours. Which is I actually, so this is, I guess, more family related. I don't believe my parents are particularly good to communicate, especially my mother. And the decision-making process is very messy. I'll leave it at that. Meaning, this whole thing, I don't think the decisions are going to be made on a rational basis, especially from a monetary perspective. Which means that, you know, unless there is a high emotion element that we can build into the proposal or the project, it will not move forward. This is something I discovered the hard way, you know, because I've had the most interaction with my parents. Let me put it in another perspective. For them, making more money, or getting more money is not necessarily a virtue or something worth doing. Because, you know, they have their passive income for life. I mean, it's for them, it's about, you know, I guess academic credits, you know, leaving a legacy of knowledge behind, things like that, right? And my father would like to
but I don't understand that that's got anything to do with the property.
So it means that unless there is a really great proposal that can win their attention and approval, which has something to do with my parents' wish, particularly my father's wish, that he wanted to have something significant for the local because that's his hometown, right? He wanted to leave a legacy there. He wanted to build a library there. He wanted to, you know, offer something for the local community that they can feel proud about, you see? And it's not necessarily about making money. Now, making money is, or at least make it sustainable, right? Or operationally sustainable. That is my goal, but it's not theirs. Does it make sense? But well,
yeah.
You know,
then I don't. Then it doesn't matter how many ideas you have. You're always, unless you've got clarity from your mum and your dad to start with, you can spend so much time on thinking what you think is a great idea, but it doesn't mean a thing to them.
I think at
if that's
least
if that's going to be your challenge, your kind of
right, right.
then they might sit there and go, why would you want to build a green building? That's not interesting.
By
That's
the
not
way,
living legacy.
no. By the
Perhaps
way, green e eco building is something my mother would definitely go for. That is something
you
I'm
know
very
that, or
sure. I know
that's a
that. I know that. I know that. I know that. She wanted
well. I
it.
think
Let me put it that way. She
okay.
wanted it. She wanted an eco building be constructed there. For my dad, it's something of significance, a local landmark you'd like to see, you see? So I guess what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to cook up something that could meet the expectations of everybody.
Yeah, good
That's the
luck.
challenge. Yes, that's the challenge. But they are my parents, right? If
But
I if I don't,
it doesn't seem like that they're particularly bothered about it. Otherwise, something would have happened.
mm, I think it's
Despite all of
just the
this, oh,
inability
we
to
don't.
take action. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So despite all of this, well, we don't care about. We don't. We're not stressed about the money. It doesn't matter. Well, if they, excuse me, if they've got a passive income and it's working for them, then they don't have to worry about it.
Okay.
Why would they?
That
There's no
yeah,
forcing function for them. Yeah, well, it'll be
I
there. It'll
see.
stay there.
There is forcing function from my other relatives and uncle, right? So they probably want to get a deal with the developer or sell it off. Yeah. So I guess
Well, yeah, but they're
but
never going to be able to do that until your mum says yes.
yes, correct. So it's kind of like stalling at the moment. Yeah. So
Then
I guess
why don't you pitch the idea that look, you want to do something for the community, you want to do something which is green. Why don't we just take sell it, take the money, and then go and do something with that money that works.
because that place is expensive. If we sell it now, although we will get the money, we probably will not be able to do something locally. Right now, we still have the land. That's an asset. But once we sell that, and the land is going to increase in value for sure. That is something very clear. In fact,
Well, it is
Dr.
until the
Young.
Chinese come and invade you. And then once the Chinese come in, then that's it, mate. You're not going to be that. You're going to be
Well,
governed
maybe, but
by
yeah,
you on.
but you got a great point. Yes, I'm not going to like forecast, but what I can see is that even if that's the case, it's likely going to be like in the Hong Kong case. When Hong Kong was taken over by China, property value fell. People left, but then it just got back up. Okay, because there's still fundamentals there. So yeah, I think I'm expecting something similar. Temporary drop, even if Taiwan is assimilated to China.
Yeah,
I think there's going to be a temporary
difference
drop.
between
Yeah.
China, the difference between Taiwan and Hong Kong is
Mhm.
that Hong Kong was rented from the Chinese for 99
Right,
years.
right, right,
So there was actually a transitional path there that was legally binding.
right, right.
What's going to happen with Taiwan is you're going to be invaded militarily.
Exactly. Right, right,
And
right. It's going to be a bit
that's going to be
messy.
it's going to be a
Yeah.
very different engagement. But
Right.
anyway, who
Okay. All
knows?
right. That.
Maybe it will never happen. But I
Yeah.
think the
Yeah.
thing is, but if well, okay, fine. Well, it's your problem to worry about. I
All
still
right.
don't see you have to be pragmatic with these things as well.
Exactly.
Nobody goes to a library anymore, right?
Right.
It just
Right. Right.
doesn't exist. I mean, well, they do
Right.
exist, but they're a diminishing kind of asset
In
or
value. Right. Right.
something.
Right.
Yeah.
True. True.
So
Yeah.
then it's like, well, what do you bring of value?
Right. Right.
What
Exactly.
landmark can you build? Well, a
My friend.
statue.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. We don't know what's going to happen. My classmate, his name is Henry. He mentioned that vegetarian restaurant, high-end vegetarian restaurant, actually is a great profit producer per square meter out of different property types. So having a restaurant there could help.
Yeah.
I guess a good one. And yeah, anyway. All right. So that's actually I've invited the tech team to join in at 30 plus to just show a bit the current progress of what they've been doing. But I guess
Right.
any
Okay.
topic. Oh, and by the way, the okay, in terms of the JCF progress, the system, I haven't got it working yet, but I did do a survey in terms of what would work to, I guess, to pull the trigger to trigger the logic. And I think Poet has done the domain thing, although I checked it. Let me just share my screen. I don't know if this is something, I don't think it's, so right now, I think it's like a redirection, you know, I think that's what she's done, but I don't think this is what you're expecting, right? You're probably expecting this to still stay with the JCF domain, right? I mean,
I don't know
this is what I
what
just
you've done there.
that
Oh,
this
business.
is what I
Right. Okay.
typed
Fine.
is, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So what right now that actually goes to this site. Okay. To the
Right.
I guess to the click funnel, right? So
Well,
yeah,
that's not.
so
That's no. Okay.
yeah,
That's no good because
that's not
A,
what you're
it's
looking for, right?
well, no. I mean,
Mm.
because you got a sender click funnel. A sender. What's a sender? What's that got to do with
Oh,
JCF?
Ascender is the accelerator. It's the accelerator.
Yeah. Okay. What's it got to do with JCF?
So basically, I think you're looking for something more like this, right? Like this has the JCF domain, although this is running at a different server. Okay,
Yeah.
this is
Well, what's
apart
happened
from
to JCF
right.
World? Are you telling me JCF
JCF
World is
World.
no longer there?
No, JCF World is still there. It's JCF. This is JCF World. It's the WordPress. It's just the biz.jcf world,
Oh, I
right?
see.
Right now points to the funnel page. Yeah,
Right.
see,
Okay.
right. So I think at least that part is working. Okay, in terms of the this domain going to the funnel, but I think we want to keep it stay with the JCF domain here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So I guess that's that. Um, all right. So
Hmm.
I think that's a technical issue again. Um,
Yeah.
so I guess any topics you'd like to discuss for today?
You got your tech team turning up now.
Hmm, they should be coming.
Well,
Let me
what were the
just check.
things that we spoke about last week that you said you were going to get done?
Right. So the booty base, okay. So let's have a look at the current system, okay? And also just give you some idea. Um, okay, let me share my screen. So right now, okay, so right now with this, we got a interface for JCF. And we can have a preview. Okay. So this is the, the main page that would be showing the user's account, basic information. And then there's the invest page and withdraw page, which is modeled after the current, right, the current interface. Now okay, so withdrawing, you would indicate what token, right? Which token you'd like to withdraw. You will be showing the NAV, amount, address, etc. And okay, and also there's the verify page. This is for the KYC part. But I think you talk about there's third-party KYC, right? That maybe we want to leverage. Now the create part is to generate a fund based on these numbers. So what happens is, after pressing this button, right? Right now it's just doing a submission. So right now it doesn't really trigger the actual token construction. And that's the part I've been surveying about, what to do. So for example, we are doing a token for, let's say the house and contract. So, and this is based off, let's say, real estate, owner's company. The total supply, we want to issue 5,000. Okay, and these are just, like how much profit is sharing. Let's say 80%. Okay, so with this, I think right now what happens is this actually should be creating a new token. Okay. So okay, so I mean right now that action should store something here and then also trigger the generation of a token so that it can be displayed. And so that's the next step to be done. Right now there is no such action. Okay. Seems like that's not really being stored here. Okay, so yeah, so I guess the next step here would be to hook up the token creation and display that to to the system. So we have a new token here. So when a user logs in, and when they are doing the invest page, they will actually see like they could actually like choose which token they want to fund, okay, based on this address. The address will be the same, but you can choose like which token to invest your money to, and will be shown here in terms of the I guess the token NAV. And also at the main page, probably you will have a list of all the tokens you own and also the current amount, things like that. So that's the Yeah, I think that's the current state of the system. And yeah, so next step would be to connect the token creation process with, once the tokens are created, connect that with the invest, withdraw, and also main page. All right, so I think that's the current state.
So why are we doing all of this?
Why?
How does that
Okay.
impact on JCF main? Where's the demand for all of this to be done?
Okay.
How does it add value?
So, okay. You're talking from the client's perspective, right?
I'm talking about anybody's perspective. You're investing time and effort and money into creating this,
right,
but
right.
for what purpose? For what reason?
Okay.
Why is it that you know
Uh-huh.
it's worth spending the time, effort, and money on creating it?
Right. Okay.
Where is the demand requesting this, that wants this?
Right. So, well, I guess the demand, okay, so the demand here,
I mean, you've had an idea, right? So you're
right,
kind of
right,
going down the route of making it work, but
right.
which might have, I mean, it's a milestone for the development of JCF. Is it a milestone that needs to be done today? This is my whole point with all of this, and this is what I keep saying and asking the same questions because I don't think it's been answered, or it's not. You're not able to go, yeah, it needs to be done today. And the reason it needs to be done today is because. And for me,
Okay.
you've got around about 100 customers who are static. And what happens when you've got static customers is gradually you lose some every
right.
period of
There's
time.
erosion. Yeah, every once in a while.
Yeah.
Some people want to pull off.
And so you're losing customers essentially because you're not gaining any. How does this create new customers? What benefit does it give? Now you might argue, but other customers, new customers will want to. Okay. Well, when we get new customers and they say to us, we want this, that's the time to put it to say, well, this is already in development. It's got our milestones for reaching this target are, we'll have it done by X. But until then, it's just it's just a thought idea, right? It's just a nice set of thoughts.
But true. I see where, but again, I think there's that's a great question. I guess the demand is somewhat internal. Okay, if I'm being honest. Meaning
From
that from me, if I'm being truly honest. Because
okay,
I'll give you an example. Maybe I'll try to make this more comprehensible. I was trying to look actually this morning online. I want to find an existing solution that can help me to do what I just showed you. Okay. What I want is I want a form. I can key in some parameters and hit the button. Okay. And then the contract is there. A token is there for me to use under my control. Okay. I want that. Okay. And granted, publishing a token takes some money. I know. Okay. I'm willing to send some Ethereum, whatever, to maybe a wallet, right? for the contract creation process, the minting process of a new token. I know that, right? I'm willing to pay some price for that, right? Maybe a couple of US dollar, a couple of hundred US dollar. I know it's cheap to publish a contract. I know that because we've done that with our development team. That's a knowledge I have, right? So it's fair for me to expect if I'm willing to spend maybe a couple of hundred US dollar, I can just click, click, click and have a contract published, right? Right? I mean, for me, that would be kind of an expectation. All right. However, I haven't been able to see something like that. And maybe I haven't done enough survey. I kind of suspect that there are services like that, right? But just from what I currently
Okay, so let's argue
how
the
to
fact
create
that
a token,
no,
right?
Shunyun, just think
ICO,
about
right,
it.
right.
Yeah, just think about it.
Hmm.
You're telling me then there's nothing like that in the marketplace, and let's just assume that that is the truth, and we don't have to worry about whether or not there are some, or maybe not, right? And why is that important? Because you've thought that you've wanted it and you want to go ahead with it, right? You want that.
Right. Okay. So you see, there are tutorials. There are solutions that teach you how you can launch a token, right? Within
Right.
1 hour, right? Okay, you can launch an ERC20 token, right? And they talk about what this is, the code, the thing, you can do this, right? And
Right.
you want to set the supply, everything, right? But this is coding.
Yeah. Okay.
You get my point? You get my point? I mean,
I see that, but why are you doing it? Why do you want it?
Why I want this? Because, okay, if you really want to take it back to, I guess that's beginning with the end in mind, right? So another analogy, Bill Gates, when he started, when nobody was using any computer, computers are big, fat, expensive, right? He was seeing that on every desk, there's going to be a PC. Everybody will be using computer, everyone. Okay, and that was a crazy idea because computers are so expensive, right? So hard to use. And nobody was using any computer. But he saw everybody was using computer, right? That's the vision. And he wanted to make that happen. That became Microsoft, right? So why am I doing this, or why I think this is important? Because I also think everybody will want a token for themselves and even multiple tokens. Okay, everybody should be able to create tokens, everyone. And part of that, I think that's just what blockchain is going to. I mean, when World Wide Web come up, right? You gave the analogy as well, right? You were there when it took off, when everything was hard, right? So if you were going to tell companies that in the future, every company will have a website, most companies will not take you seriously, right? They think you're crazy. What's a website, right? So I'm saying exactly the same thing. Everybody will have a token, not just one token. Everybody will have multiple tokens. Who knows? Maybe some will have hundreds of tokens created in their lifetime, right? That becomes a capability. And that's actually may not be a bad thing because right now, I have this conversation with my classmate, Henry, earlier, last night, about there's actually a depressing trend, actually a dangerous trend that's happening, which is actually in Taiwan. Okay, I can just maybe just share this. It's estimated that there's going to be a growing elder population that's not going to be able to rent houses in some estimate 200K, 200,000 of them. The reason is that maybe not in the West, but in the Chinese society culture, landlords don't like to lease to elders because they could stay, they may not move, they could die in the house, and that's bad, bad whatever, right? For the house, for the landlord, they don't want that. So, and also, like young people, they cannot buy a house, right? It's too expensive. So this is a game, like house rental, house purchasing, real estate property. Now it's a game reserved only for the well-to-do of a certain asset size, which help them to grow their assets, right? Okay, and further up, widen the gap between these two groups. So what tokenization can do as a technology, or even I would argue as a movement, is that when you provide this to the hands of as many people as possible, when people can start to tokenize or tokenize their assets for sale for, let's say, $100 a piece in the marketplace, that's a game changer. Okay, because it allows people who are previously unable to invest to participate, right? And like there are products like Henry mentioned. If you start to, let's say, raise, this is one reason why he's interested. Okay, and talking 2 hours with me on this. He's going to do an IPO this year, so probably also very busy. But he's doing this because he's also interested to see the prospect and potential of real estate tokenization happen. He's not from the blockchain side, he's not a crypto guy. He's a real estate guy. But he's interested to see this happen. So if you ask me what's the demand, well, that's the demand. Henry is our client. You see, if we can offer a good enough solution.
He's interested.
Yes. So we want.
Has he sat there and said, "I want to do this"?
Right. What's he going to put on the table, or how much he's going to invest?
Has he demanded anything? Is he wanting it, or has he said he's just interested in the idea?
He's explored the idea. He doesn't see this as something people have done in Taiwan, but he knows that people have done it, overseas, fundraising overseas.
Right. Does he want to do it?
Yes. I mean, not personally, because he would like to see. Okay, so this is what he told me. He doesn't feel fundraising is his unique ability or core area of focus or core business. Okay, his core business is how to, design, evaluate, plan, financial plan. Okay, do evaluation of project, construct or acquire buildings, and then make it operational, and then earn rental money from that. That's his expertise. His company has been developed a whole pipeline of service towards that, in the last few years. So that's the area, that's his unique ability. He like to go deeper, right? And have more. He's already built showcase for small and medium project.
But does he actually want what you're offering?
So his financing options are basically two or three. He can get private investors, right? He can get loan from the bank, which I believe he's already done, for his project. He can go IPO for his company, right? That is raising money for his company. He's doing all these already, okay? And yet, he thinks that there's great prospect for tokenized fundraising. Okay.
Yeah.
And the reason I can share with you from my conversation with him is that, so this is something he told me, and I kind of feel a bit, I guess, socially responsible for this. and that kind of is what we can actually do, is that like there's this growing elder population that's going to be a certain size by 2025. That's an estimate. But right now there's a housing shortage in Taiwan for the elders. Okay. And right now there's not proper government policy or approach that's addressing this issue. So he's actually expecting within a couple of years, maybe 2025, 26, there's going to be rallies on the street. Actually that happens maybe 3-4
But
decades
that's
ago
got fine,
by
but
the youth.
Shunyun,
Okay.
all of that is
No,
very
okay.
interesting, but
Right.
it's got nothing to
Right.
do with answering the question.
Okay. Let me.
He thinks maybe this
Right.
might happen.
Right.
You
Right.
think maybe this might
Okay.
happen.
Okay.
But what is the reality of it right now?
Okay. Okay. Right now. Why right now? Is because there's going to likely, some estimate, 200,000 elder people who are not going to be able to have rental houses in Taiwan alone. This is going to create social distress problems. Some of these elders probably will go to the street, right, to have a rally about not being able to get rent, not being able to rent houses, even if they have the money. Okay. So what happens is one potential solution to this, okay, as he also mentioned, is that if there's investment, if there's capital, and this has been done elsewhere in the world, okay, people with capital and maybe people who are impact investors, they are not just looking after the financial, but also the social impact. So for example, he mentioned about there were housing projects that I forgot which country was that, but they did a study that even though the housing policy did not make money from the houses, it helped reduce the medical bill, by 1/3, because the elders were being taken care more properly. Okay, and that medical bill alone is multiple times of the.
What's that got
I
to
guess of
do
the.
with
Right.
how many coins you can create in
Okay,
an hour?
so okay, all right, so that's the point. That's the point. Like what I see is that if if there does exist an international market for financing, for fundraising, right? There's wealth everywhere, right? And there are people willing to invest for good property, for good projects, right? Everywhere. But right now, it's kind of like there's not a good bridge that can allow those money to flow into, let's say, to Taiwan, right? Quickly. I'm talking about, potentially, not just hundreds of millions of dollars, maybe even billions of dollars, right? That could be raised and then invest in the property market, right? And convert that into, let's say, social housing projects that can be rentable to elders. Okay, so solving a social problem. Also, Henry mentioned the elder rental market. Actually, nobody is doing that. Okay, the players in
Okay,
Taiwan
but
are not.
again, what's it
And the
got to do
reason,
with what
okay,
you showed me?
okay, so
You're not
what
answering the
happens
question,
is,
Shinyan.
okay, the answer is potentially we are looking at not just one or two or three fundraising projects. It could be even there are, like many housing projects, hundreds to thousands of housing projects. Each will raise their own tokens. Okay. Because everyone is, or maybe a single token that's going to like fund all these projects. I don't know. I don't know what that will look like. But what happens is I do see that if there's a capability, right? If there's a capability to create tokens literally on the fly, right? Very quickly, very cheaply, press a, key in a few numbers, press a button, and you get yourself a token. And not just any token, one designed specifically for real estate tokenization. So what that means is that that token has legal contract behind that. That's forcible binding to, let's say, a property owned by a company that has provided certain legal guarantee in a very strong way.
Fine. So Shinyun,
Right.
right, generating a token with a contract.
Right. Right.
At worst case, at the moment, will take about an hour using, whoever that guy was,
By a
Vladimir,
technical developer. Yeah.
Yeah, fine. It's going to take an hour.
Right.
You can pay the guy, 10 grand, he'll have it sorted.
Right. And
you've
get
got
a
your token.
contract that nobody can use or know how to use.
But the contract,
You see?
but the thing is, why? Why would nobody know how to use it if you've generated it?
Because it's not trustworthy.
Why is it not trustworthy?
Because the thing with all the contracts, with all the tokens out there, is that there's not a solid way to ensure that it's trustworthy, as in it's been properly backed by collaterals and legal frameworks.
Okay, so you're talking about collaterals and legal frameworks now, which has got nothing to do with contracts. It's got nothing to do with contracts.
No.
Right.
No.
So
no.
The point is, when I wrote the white paper on property,
right.
Have you read it?
I listened to it. I listened as an audiobook. Yeah.
Right. So the point is that the setup for that is you got is the country capable of doing everything digitally. In the UK, they're not, right? So that's just the way it is. 2, is it recognised legally? Is there a framework there? And in the UK, currently, there's not. Maybe soon that could be dealt with, right? From a finance perspective, there are lending and KYC, AML, and government, or I suppose legal kind of constraints from the Financial Service Authority in the UK. I don't know about Thailand.
Right.
So there are
Taiwan,
elements
there's an
there.
We have an SEC as well. We have an SEC, yes.
Right, fine. So they're going to have a criteria. So you've got to overcome those before you even start making a coin. The creation of a coin is like the end result. You need to overcome those. Then what has to be done is, if you're going to talk about it saying, well, this is so that it will help with funding. Okay. Right. It's going to help with funding. How? Because people are going to buy the token, and then they're going to have a share of the asset. Right?
Right.
What asset?
Exactly.
Well, that house at number 42, the High Street, real estate. What real estate? Where? What does it look like?
Right.
How many square meters?
Taiwan.
Is it built?
Right.
Is it already built? Is it not built? So anybody that's actually, so you might sit there and go, you might argue, right, that you go, well, because there's 200,000 elders that are going to be sitting there marching around in the streets next year or in 2 years' time because they've got nowhere to live and nobody wants to rent to them. Right. That's your target market. And if they can afford to rent, but they've got no money, nobody wants to rent to them, well, then you want to pitch to them the idea that they work a cooperative, which is effectively what this is, a DAO, right? And then they get a token that will actually fund the building of a property. Where's that building going to be? Where's it going to be?
Ah, I see. Okay, in Taiwan. And then, this is what Henry's perspective. Henry sees, he's probably got access to a lot of potential buildings that he can, do projects on, because their expertise is in converting, renovating, managing the buildings, right? for rental
Okay.
properties. That's your expertise, right?
Do you,
So for him,
yes, you've said that, right?
it's for him, that's not an issue. That's well within their capability. The issue for him will be fundraising. Okay, their growth right now will be limited by the amount of capital they can raise.
Has Henry sat there and said, I want the ability to do this. I want to do this.
Yeah,
Using
I
a
believe
token.
so. I believe so. In the
no,
right.
I mean it's a yes or a no. It's not a believe so.
It's a
statement. Has he said to you, I want to raise money using a token for one of my projects?
He mentioned one of the properties very similar to our family house in size, you know, and in design, in intended use, that he'd like to raise, you know, potentially along with our project to raise through ICOs. He did mention that, you know, like kind of like doing a small pilot, right? To verify this idea actually works, right? This pipeline of fundraising through internationalized, you know, ICO sales actually works.
Right. So he's made that clear.
Yes, he's made that clear. Yes.
So that's your supply. That's your demand, then. That was the answer to the question.
Okay, that's what you're looking for, right? That's what you're looking for, I think.
Yeah, because now you've got somebody who's actually wants to do it. But you know,
I got a more modern thinking real estate property developer who's about my age. Well, he's my classmate, right? Because people who are older than him in this market, and I would add that he's probably relatively young, you know, in the marketplace for real estate developers. Usually they are much more older, experienced, and wealthy. He's kind of like a newcomer, right? But already, you know, has track record of, you know, of success, right? So I guess, and he's willing and open to the idea of, you know, fundraising through tokens.
When does he want to do it by? What timeline?
I don't know. Well, I would imagine it's okay. I can confirm with him, but if he's already got a property, I would say you know, it's something like as soon as possible. You know.
Well, I mean, I think that's so. Look, you've established the fact that the guy's interested. Okay, you're interested.
Yes.
When do you want to do it?
Yeah.
So then you've got a timeline. I want to do it. I want to do it within the next 6 months.
Right.
What do you want to do in the next 6 months? Are you going to? Is this project going to be? I'm going to knock it all down and build from scratch, or I'm just going to convert what I've already got into something which is more suitable. You know, and then start getting into the specifics because fundamentally, if somebody's going to get money out of their wallet and invest, they're going to want to know what the criteria are, how much return on investment they're going to get, when they're going to get a return on capital.
Right.
All of that stuff. What sort of ownership are they getting? All of that stuff.
That has to be clear, right? Has to be really clear. Yes.
Well, I mean, all of that, you need to have an understanding of what you're offering before you start making a coin, because all of those criteria are going to be the elements that are fundamental to the contract. And then once you've done all of that, by your own admission, nobody trusts the contracts anyway, because there's nobody with any proof that they can be trusted.
Exactly. So
you've got your own. You're gonna have to overcome that.
Exactly. The trust issue. Yes. For sure.
But I think the thing is, Chinian, all of that doesn't answer the question. Why do you want to have a platform which will generate a coin, multiple coins at a click of a button? It doesn't answer that question. It just says it's just an idea. You think it might be a great idea because you think it might happen in the future, that people will want it in the same way. Even with the website idea, the cheapest you can get a website now is using WordPress, and then getting some school kid to just knock some pages together, and you might do it for a few $100, right?
Right.
Which is fair enough. but it's still, it's not as transactionally simplified. And when you start talking about money, people are going to, you're inevitably going to have all of those kind of criteria, the legal stuff and the FCC and all, SEC kind of regulations and requirements anyway.
Right.
But I'm just trying to illustrate with you that the fundamental is supply and demand. If you've got people demanding it, then there's a supply. Now, you might be ahead of the curve and know that, well, okay, I know that this will be required. But again, if you're saying
it's going to be a serious issue,
if it's a couple of years, okay. So,
well, what happens? What happens is, I believe what's happening is, there's going to be a shortage in terms of rental space for a particular age group. Okay, at least that's what Henry has told me.
Right? Yeah. Fine. I'm not arguing about that. I'm talking about the spending time and effort on designing a page, a portal, which will allow you to generate multiple tokens. Which I still don't know why you want to do it. Other than the fact that you think it'd be a really cool idea.
All right. So here's the thing. I believe that what you're going to actually end up doing or having is, for each housing / construction project or site, you will want to have a token for it. It's not one token for all the houses, all the things, Henry is going to be doing. It's actually one token per site.
That's assuming then that you gain enough traction and there's enough demand to do the funding in that way. And the way in which you will stimulate that demand, where people will go, oh, I really want to invest in this property concept using these tokens, is because the deal is so good. And you don't know what the deal is to start with. So you need to figure out what the parameters of the deal are to make sure that it's more advantageous than actually what you would get from a normal bank.
Expertise. Right. That's Henry's expertise and know-how. Okay, which we want to extract, I think, into some parameters, something clear, something that can be clearly presentable to potential investors or token buyers, right? But what I'm saying is, you know Kickstarter, right? You probably know, I mean, there is also a fundraising platform for solar panels, right? What I see is that we probably want to build something very similar to a Kickstarter for real estate property projects. Okay, so it's going to be like fundraising, right? Selling tokens with a specific, total amount to raise, right? And you show progress bar of how many being sold, right? And there are a list of projects you can just pick from. They have different locations, different, environments, property values, like different information and different ROI expectation. And that can all be done through some financial model, which, by the way, Henry can provide, right? He's probably got teams, experts that can do those kind of calculations. So what I'm seeing is, for example, if we work with him, right, and by the way, he will be just one of the real estate developer that we can potentially work with. Okay, but let's say we're working with Henry, right? So he's going to provide all these information about each project. And what we want to do is to have a site that lists all these things, right? And the potential investor, they can check the facts, they can do their own diligence, right? We can offer all the information, all the check of references, they can go check it themselves, right? They can visit the site themselves, they can verify through government data, whatnot, right? Or go with your friend, or even go to the site and be guided by Henry's team member to see the property, right? Maybe he can even provide that. And what happens is, once people are satisfied and they invest through tokens, that can be the funds for Henry to purchase and to, renovate and to start to operate specific properties. Make sense?
Yeah, I know it's not complicated, Shunyun, but I just you're
Okay.
there's a lot of maybes and there's no. I mean, if I sat there and if I had Henry sitting there going, I want to do this now,
Right.
then it'd be a different kind of thing because you've got somebody demanding something, right?
Right. I
Any of
believe
this
that's the
speculative kind of
conversation we have. Yeah. So
any of this
what would
speculation
it take?
about it maybe because here's the thing, I'm pretty knowledgeable with property, and I'm pretty
good.
knowledgeable with people's behaviour. So I
Okay,
think I'm
okay.
pretty well positioned to be able to sit there
To make
and
comments, right? Yeah.
and stand in between somebody who's like a property person and then the crypto realm. And of course, you
Okay.
know that I sit
Excellent.
there and I think it's a good idea to tokenize property.
Right.
The specifics of how you do it and where you do it, you fundamentally it's when you've got the. I think it's going to work better when you've actually got ownership of a property first.
Right.
Because then if you own the real estate and what you want to do is
Right.
you want to raise the funds to build, then
Right.
that's probably going to be an easier model to work with.
Which is what I'm doing with our family house. I'm a 1/4 owner of the property.
Yeah, but you've got a load of issues that you've got to overcome there. You've got two
Yes.
uncles that want to, so that's just not a realistic thing because you don't own it, you don't control it. You have
I don't
a
yet.
quarter share, and well,
Right.
when you've got it and you own or control 100%, and you've got executive authority to do that, then you're in a position to start figuring out what to do next. But until you've got that, you've got no, you've got no control.
Right. Okay.
At any time, two of the parties can sit there and go, we're voting that we should do it doing it this way. And then you've got nothing.
What about if I design a proposal? I mean, what about if let's say we design a proposal, right? With the intention to buy all the lands, the rights from my uncles, consolidate that into a single company, even the rights, even our own land ownership from, let's say from my father, from my dad and myself, right? Consolidate that into a company and, also raise funds through that company. Okay. And because
do that.
Right.
You've not illustrated yet that it's profitable to do it.
Right, which is exactly the whole point now, is to, I guess, to make the planning work, right? We want to have the planning work, meaning that, the property is going to be properly managed by professionals, such as Henry's company.
It's irrelevant who you get to manage it right now. Doesn't matter. Henry, can you manage our property, please? Yes, of course I can. It's simple.
Right.
That's sorted.
Right.
What is it? But if Henry's going to manage it and Henry's going to walk in here and go, well, I can do $500 per square foot on this and $600 per square foot on that. That's what I can do. Right. And I'll get that per whatever the period per month.
Right.
That's great. But if it costs you $1 million per square foot to construct it, your payback period is a very, very long period of time.
Right.
So you've got to have a project that actually makes sense financially for it to work, and not just, well, by the end of 3 years we'll be able to, or by the end of 5 years then maybe we'll be breaking even. I mean, you've got to be a bit more aggressive than that.
Right.
I mean,
true.
You're
talking about a financial model, right? A financial plan, basically.
It's basic business. It's it's got to be you. At the moment, all your plans that you've sent to me and all the ideas that we've discussed have all been kind of, well, they maybe if the price of the land will go up, it will be worth more money and da-di-da-di-da. Yeah, okay, maybe if, but are you actually, so, right, over the weekend, what did I, or maybe Thursday or Friday, I looked at one property in London. Oh, I looked at more. I found one property in London, right? That if I bought it currently at the list price that it's on the market for, right, I would need an investment of £180,000 pounds. Call it 200. I would then make about 53% over the course of 1 year in terms of return on investment.
Okay. Oh, nice. That's very nice.
Right? That's a combination of excuse me. That's a combination of the increase in the asset value and the profit. And I would make a profit of £2,000 per month.
Okay.
Plus. And that's on very conservative figures, right?
Okay. Nice.
So the likelihood is I'd probably make more money on it, right? So the thing is, I know how to make, I could work that out very quickly, and I know that that's now a thing to do, right?
A profitable proposition, right? It's a profitable.
It's very simple. It's very small.
Right.
But it makes a lot of sense. Now, that you can replicate time and time again, right?
Right.
But what you're asking, and this is what I say to you, is that it's easier to start off with smaller things because you can actually manage and you're taking on less risk, and you're actually building something which is more manageable and timely, right? Prove the model works, build it, replicate, right?
Right.
And then go on to the next bigger project where you do something slightly bigger, right?
Sure.
And then your exposure is not as big. But nevertheless, go for the biggest project possible that you can possibly imagine. It's still got to stack up financially.
Okay.
Otherwise, nobody's going to get involved with it. Nobody's going to, it doesn't matter whether or not you've got a token that's going to be designed in 15 seconds and is there and ready. Because if the numbers ain't working, or there's some legal framework which is going to fail it, who's going to want to invest? Nobody's. It's irrelevant. You've got to make sure that the project works for you.
Right.
And I think that if you want to have a call with Henry, if you
okay, that's the bottleneck, right? That should be the thing to clarify about, right? The constraint theory. I'm talking about what's the constraint, right? What's the current constraint in the system?
Well, I just think if your current family project doesn't add up.
Okay, compared to Henry's projects, maybe some of his projects that he's already working on.
I don't know, because I don't know anything about Henry. I mean, and again, if you actually trusted me to have a conversation with him, I'd be happy to join in on that. But I don't necessarily. But it would be a case of, look, let's have a think about how we could make funding through crypto a viable option for one of your projects.
Right. Okay. Right. As a business discussion, right? As a business discussion.
And then that's actually something that JCF as a consultancy can actually do something and then make some money out of. Right?
Okay.
Because there's no point in doing it if we're not making any money out of it.
True. Yes.
Right. But that would be
totally agree.
and that's why I don't see the if you'd have sat there and said to me, Mike, well, I think that there's we can, I don't know, by having these coins created within 30 seconds is actually going to generate us a revenue of 50 grand a month. And I'll go, great, why is that? And you can go, because that. Well, that makes sense. But just because you have an idea that you believe that it might be worth something in the future, okay, maybe, but then maybe not. And I think, the thing is, what I learned early on is that business business owners will make decisions based a lot on gut. Managers in businesses will make decisions a lot based on gut. Yet what they will also
gut or
do
analysis?
is
Managers?
no, gut.
You mean owners?
Gut.
On gut. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good decision makers will have a gut decision, right? And they'll sit there and they'll go, I know that this is going to work this way. I genuinely think this is a good idea. And then what they do is they go, well, okay, I believe this is a good idea. What's the proof? Where are the numbers to back my idea?
Okay.
The numbers are here. Yes, the numbers agree with my gut, so everything's great. No, the numbers don't agree with my gut, so it's not such a great idea. That's a shame. Move on.
I see. Okay. Okay. I see. All right. So that's the decision-making process, right? That you've seen with business owners.
And I've seen it myself.
Successful. Right.
Yeah,
okay.
I've seen it myself.
Right. Okay.
But you've got to have something there to start with. So you might have a great idea, but if you're not, if you can't prove it, it's not a great idea. It's just an idea.
Okay. 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 Right.
It's a little bit like in science, right? So somebody has an idea. They have a hypothesis,
Right.
and then they go out and they test the hypothesis. And then for it to be rigorously tested, other people have to test the hypothesis, and then prove the results are valid. And then you've got then eventually you go to a theory, and then eventually you go to a law.
Right.
And that's why Charles Darwin's theory of evolution is still only a theory, because there's no proof.
Theory. Yeah. Right.
They have nobody has been able to prove that the evolution from monkeys to humans ever happened. Evolution as a whole is generally accepted. Yes, evolution happens. Well, that's why it's still a theory of evolution, because nobody's actually found what they call a missing link.
Okay.
Now, so the point I'm trying to make here is that you have an idea, and then you can prove that it works. But if you don't, it's just a hypothesis.
Right.
And that's about being rigorous with one's thought process.
Okay.
And in business, it means money.
Okay. All right. So what would be the next step? I mean, conversation with Henry. That's one, right?
I think yeah. I think a casual question of Henry. I was talking with co-founder at JCF, and he's also into real estate in the UK. Has his own portfolio, and has already written a white paper about the tokenization of property. So it's a really keen subject. Is this something that you're genuinely interested in doing? Is this something that we should have a longer conversation, a more detailed conversation about? Leave it at that, and then you've just positioned it, right? And then from that, he'll sit there and go, yeah, actually, yeah, okay, this is realistic. I like that. Or, well, you know what, Shinyan, I was just kicking around an idea. I'm not sure if I want to go ahead with it.
Okay. All right. So how about next week, same time? Okay. If you can join, then let's have a conversation. Would that work?
Well, I was going to say, I'm not going to, I think this time next week.
Oh, next week is, holiday, right? Christmas. All right. So, well, an earlier time work? I mean,
I'm just not going to be doing anything, Shinyan. I'm not, I think I'm going to shut down for,
Okay.
Well,
that works.
Monday, the 1st of January is a public holiday, so I'm not going to come back to the office until after Tuesday.
Okay. All right. Sure.
So
maybe
really,
let's find a time that works. All right.
Really, I'm the earliest I'm ever going to do anything is from kind of like, I don't know, probably
8th,
the 8th
right?
of January.
January 8th. 8th of January. Okay. Let's do that then. How about that? I mean, we can either maybe find a time this week, Okay, that's a Thursday, same time.
No, well, Thursday and
Uh,
Friday I'm shutting
no,
down as well. So
okay, already. Okay.
yeah.
So Wednesday? I mean, either
Um,
Wednesday or January 8th, after the new year. What's your
I
pick?
mean,
Yeah. What's your gut
ask,
feeling on this?
well, the 8th. I don't want to do anything
Day.
until the
Okay.
8th.
All right, sure. Then
But I think,
let's
you
the
need to
8th
sit there
day.
and say,
Yeah.
is he established whether or not he actually wants to have the conversation?
Okay, okay. All right. I'll ask him. I'll ask
Because
him. Yeah.
so just say like, look, we were talking about it, and we
Hmm.
think there's a very,
Okay.
you know, there's a good dialogue. There's a good possibility that this is doable. Are
Hmm.
you interested in
Hmm.
in seeing if it can be done?
Okay, okay. All right.
And just
That's
see whether or not
fantastic.
he's interested.
Okay. All right. That's excellent. Okay. By the way, really appreciate it, all the feedback. I think one thing I learned just as a feedback, I think I made my decision a lot on my sort of gut intuition, right? Or maybe on emotions, but I don't think I have the habit or the system yet, or SOP yet, to also back it up with numbers. Okay, in terms of the decision and also I guess, the action part. So maybe that's why you're a more profitable entrepreneur than I am, at least to this stage.
At the moment, yeah.
Okay.
Well, the thing
Yeah.
that's pissing me off, Shunyun, is that I know one day you're going to come along and you're going to hit the nail right on the head, and I won't be hanging around, and you'll make an absolute killing with it, and I'll be sat there still penny pinching while you're kind of raking it all in. So, there is
You
that.
know,
So look,
it's two curve,
there's
right? It's
merits to
two
both.
curve, and once they will cross, right?
Yeah, at
Right
some
now I'm
point.
here.
Um. Anyway, yeah, we'll
Yeah.
see. See how
But
we get on.
no worries. If we're still working, I'm sure it's going to be like this.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
Okay.
Fantastic. All right. So, I guess will be the last conversation for this year until January 8th, right?
Yep.
And I
I guess
think
so.
meanwhile have so a fantastic Christmas season, right? And just relax and do recovery, spend time with family, enjoy the holiday.
And
All
you, my
right.
friend.
Yeah. All
All
right.
right.
All right. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Oh, you can't. You're
So
in Canada. So anyway.
yeah, I'm in Canada. I'll be here in Christmas. So
Oh, okay. That's
that's
festive of you.
fantastic. Yeah, yeah. I mean, in Taiwan, there's not really a Christmas. I mean, people kind of celebrate, but there's no, yeah. But here, it's a real holiday. So I think I will get more
Really?
of a Christmas here.
Right. Fair enough. Fair enough.
All
Okay.
right.
Cool.
So
Awesome.
yeah, take care. Take care. Yeah. All right. Take care.
See you
Bye
later,
bye.
buddy.
Bye bye.
Take care. Bye
Yeah,
bye.
yeah.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.